This section of the psalm introduces the oppressors, which is about the abuse of power and authority to take advantage of people through violence or deceit. And sadly, we see it right across our world today. And as you read through the Bible, you're aware of the people of God of old who were oppressed at various times, like when they were in Egypt. Today, we see the church persecuted right across the world. And so what encouragements might there be within this section of Psalm 119? Verse 121. I have done what is righteous and just. Do not leave me to my oppressors. He's done what is righteous and just. That in itself brings blessing, as we saw in the very first section of this. Remember, verse 1, blessed are those whose ways are blameless. Somehow there comes an inner joy and peace from doing what is right, whatever the persecution that might follow. And ultimately, we will be rewarded in heaven. Hebrews 10 verse 35 says, do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. So that's the first encouragement. The second encouragement comes in verse 122. The New International Version puts it like this: ensure your servant's well-being. Some translations really do it slightly better justice with the Lord is our surety. The Lord is our surety. It's like a guarantor. You know, when someone else guarantees to cover someone else's debt or fulfill a promise on behalf of another. In Genesis, Jacob refused to let Benjamin go to Egypt with his brothers to get food. And it turns out that Judah has to willingly become surety for his younger brother. And so Jesus became surety for us. He paid our debt to God to ensure us safe passage to heaven and relationship with the Father. So no matter what happens to us in this world, our surety is secure. We have God's surety. The third encouragement comes from really reading between the lines of verses 123 to 125, where it talks about us being God's servants, and therefore he is our master, and so we trust him. As our master, he warned us that the way the world persecuted him, it would also come our way too. And that the way the world persecutes God's people, he says, actually, they're persecuting Jesus himself. Remember Jesus' words to Saul on the road to Damascus. Why do you persecute me? Verse 125, I am your servant, so give me discernment that I may understand. We won't always understand, but we trust God's word. We won't always escape persecution, but we're made as gold. And fourthly, we hold on to the encouragement that God is the ultimate judge. Verse 126, your law is being broken. So like the psalmist, we want that justice now, straight away. But God's ways and God's times are not ours. As we've seen previously, faith and patience go together. But we do trust that the day is coming when God will judge the world with justice. And he's given proof of that by raising Jesus from the dead. Acts 17, verse 31. So we stay clear of the wrong path, verse 128, and don't just fall in line with the oppressors of our world.